Sorry about that. I forgot. I was like get ready to switch the camera over to me, and then I started looking at my phone, and then a minute went by, and I'm like, oh, I'm live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Enter ChazmaN here, and welcome back to another episode, another week of Enter ChazmaN Live. Now my, 15th episode or something like that. If you don't know, this is kind of my opportunity to kind of hang out with you guys and just chit-chat, shoot the SHIT, if you know what I mean. And again, this is another week where, for me personally, there wasn't I feel like, again, similar to last week, most of the big news I've seen has been mostly like political, which I like to stay out of. But there's a couple little things, one or two things I want to talk about. There's one video in particular that I just saw. I actually need to pull that up real quick. But hey, Skylar Twilight's in chat already. Said, yeah, lol, it's all good. Welcome to the stream, Skylar. Appreciate y'all. There was one thing. I finished another book recently, and I definitely wanted to talk about that. So that's on my radar. And then there was a new game console that was announced today. I kind of would like to talk or watch a little bit about that, because I honestly don't know anything about it. We'll watch its official trailer, and then I think someone dropped a video that I like. Who was it? Was it Young? Yeah. I kind of want to see Young's opinion on it. Let me just pull up his channel. I should have pulled that up before hopping on. Alright, we need to talk about this. Okay.
Out of freaking...
Goodness. That was loud.
Hey, everyone.
I hate how the videos just start right when I move over there. Hey, Odin is Salty's in chat. What's up, Odin? Welcome to the stream. How are you? How are you? Alright, so I guess let's go ahead and start getting into this a little bit. I can go ahead and get rid of my banner. I should say, you know, I like to kind of thank you guys and show appreciation, but I appreciate everyone that tunes in and watches all the stuff. I've been trying to utilize being unemployed as best as I can. I have so many channels and so much stuff to maintain right now. I mean, I guess it's good, you know, I can't imagine, you know, I'm trying my best to, you know, garner a following, to make some revenue. I just made a new channels and stuff today. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who checks out all the Enter ChazmaN live content on the on that channel, all the ChazmaN long plays. If then, you know, any of that floats your boat, thank you for tuning into the streams on the main channel. Appreciate y'all. I think I shared in the Discord, but something I'm tackling now, I just finished creating, is across a couple social media locations. I think here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I made a fan page for a band called It Dies Today. I don't know, I'm a big fan of the band, and I thought it might be kind of fun to try my hand at, like, you know, trying to be involved more, maybe trying to like, I don't build like a rock community, I guess. That one is going to be totally separated from me. You guys have heard it here. That's me over there. It's all things It Dies Today on those pages. But that's not really going to be tied to me. I kind of want to keep that separate, you know. That's so I guess you guys will know, but everyone else who checks it out over there won't know that's me. But yeah, that's me over there. That's kind of fun. Check that out if you care about that. I put my first post out today, so. All right, so I guess let's go ahead and get this underway. So again, you guys know I'm unemployed right now, and something other than making crap tons of content that I've been really wanting to dive into, something I haven't been touching on, you know, the last handful of years, is I've been getting back to reading. I've been reading a ton of, as much as I can, possibly, you know, without distracting me from making content. But I did a video, and I talked about recently the Hobbit book. I read through the entire Hobbit, so you'll never guess what I just read. That's right, I just read through the Fellowship of the Ring. Pretty big book. It's probably the longest book I've read in a hot minute. I mean, I've read longer way when I was younger. Maybe not even yet. Probably several years ago I used to read a lot more. But yeah, so let's go ahead and dive. I really want to talk about that. I brought up a couple notes of things I would like to talk about when it comes to Fellowship. If you don't know, I have read Fellowship mostly before. I think right out of high school I started it, and I got probably a little more than halfway and just fell off of it or something. But yeah, this is actually my first time actually reading the entire book from front to back. All, what was it, like 400 pages I think it was. Very interesting read. So let me go ahead and get some stuff set up, and we'll talk about that for a hot minute. I don't want any audio. Go ahead and let my music run. That should be fine, just fine. All right, so yeah, like I said, I just read Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. A very interesting book. Probably one. I think I've said it probably about. I don't know if you guys have known, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy in the movie terms is my favorite movie trilogy of all time. Going back and reading the books that I missed out on is something I've always wanted to do. So I fully read Fellowship of the Ring. Just finished it the other night. I already started last night. I started the Two Towers already. So I'm freaking jumping right into that mother effer. But yeah, I brought up some of my notes, and there is some things I really wanted to touch on. Otis Salty says, I've been looking at the new Steam console. Seems pretty neat for a little gaming console. Yeah, we will be talking about that in just a little bit. I am looking forward to that as well. But yeah, so I've got up a couple notes here of a couple things that I really wanted to touch on. I'll be very fast. Touching on a book. Maybe that might not be like the most. That's probably like a super niche topic. Book talk. I don't even know if people read books anymore. Maybe I'm just the weirdo. I'm sure there's people out there reading books. But yeah, I again love the movie series. The book I love now for almost completely different reasons. The one thing I did notice coming off of the reading The Hobbit versus the Hobbit movies is the whole idea of just there being so much more context in what it was happening within the books. And I really feel like that case is enlarged here within the Fellowship of the Ring. There is so much more context that is missed between the movies and the books. Not necessarily blaming Peter Jackson. I guess I'll go ahead and throw that out there. If you don't know, the theatrical version of Lord of the Rings is 2 to 2.5 hours long. Which for the longest time was the way I consumed those movies, was theatrical. The last 10, 15 years, though, I only watch extended version of those movies. I do not... Is that rain? No. I think it's raining. Yeah, I only watch these movies in the extended version. I don't even touch... To me, the theatrical version of those movies is like taboo. I don't go anywhere near them. But with that being the case, I still feel like even with the extended versions, there is still so much context that's still missing, and there's still really cool things from the book that I kind of wish... Some of them I wish were brought over. Some of them I'm happy are left out. Oh gosh, I thought my mic was muted for a second. Hey, Veronica Roshi's joined. What's up, Veronica? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, so I guess real quick, let me just pull up a couple of things. I mean, I could probably go off the top of my head. So I guess one of the big things that a lot of people go back and look at when it comes to, although a lot of people point out things that are like irregularities or things that don't make sense, is if you guys don't know, there's another Lord of the Rings movie that's, I think it's probably being made by now. It's called The Hunt for Gollum, which something that a lot of people didn't realize is in the movie, there is a period of... He's gone for 7? I thought he was gone for like 10. Well, anyways, yeah, there's a long period stretch in between when Gandalf leaves, when he finds out about the one ring to rule them all. When he finds out Bilbo has that, there's a long period of time. In the movie, it feels as though he's kind of gone and comes back. If you don't know, in the movies, he kind of runs off to He runs off real quick. It seems like he runs to Minas Tirith, and then eventually on his way back, stops by Frodo, leaves again, and then disappears for a period of time. In the movies, they make it seem as though all of this is happening like that, when in the books, he's gone for like dang near a decade plus. Like, he is gone for like 10 years, and there's so much stuff that happens in between here. And, but yeah, and this entire period of time is what the future movie that Peter Jackson has been, I believe Peter Jackson has signed back on again to do, is the whole Hunt for Gollum is all of the things that take place, all of the events within that like long decade plus timeline that happened there with ideally the only people that should be in that movie would be Gandalf, Aragorn, Frodo. And Gollum, of course. Anybody else, I don't really think anybody else should really pop up in that movie, but that probably should be the main cast. Hopefully, I think from what I understand, Ian McKellen has said no one else is playing a Gandalf other than him. Oh gosh, I forgot Aragorn's name. Oh, I normally know his name. Viggo Mortensen. From what I understand, I think Viggo has basically said the same thing. I'm assuming no one else is going to play Aragorn. I'm pretty sure he's coming back. Obviously, the guy that plays Gollum, he's definitely coming back. That guy is so active and directing and playing in movies and voice acting. I'm pretty sure he'll be back for that. And then Elijah Wood. I can't imagine Elijah wouldn't come back. In fact, let me show you guys something real quick that's pretty cool. A lot of people, I don't think there's ever been verification that Elijah Wood is coming back for to play Frodo, but there was this cool thing that a lot of people were kind of speculating on that was like really interesting. See if I can find it. I'll play this for you guys. This is kind of cool. So recently there was a wedding happening in Hobbiton over in New Zealand. If you don't know where the movie, much of the Hobbiton and much of the Lord of the Rings locations were filmed on, you know, IRL in New Zealand. Beautiful place. I've been wanting to go. It actually sounds very cheap to go to New Zealand. But yeah, there was a wedding for a couple who, you know, big Lord of the Rings fans, and were doing stuff. And lo and behold, guess who was in the crowd who happened to show up? Hey, Elijah Wood. Now, isn't that
Hobbit wedding complete with a Hobbit surprise as Elijah Wood crashes a couple's nuptials?
Now, why was he in New Zealand?
The Shire.
Hobbiton is my favorite, and it's one of my favorite parts of the film. And they actually built this place. Hobbiton was a reality.
Why was he in New Zealand, do you think?
And they let it grow over
I'm like
years' time.
99% sure they're recording. Recording the film. I mean, I can't imagine another reason why he would be in.
I think all of us at that point.
Why he would be just happen to be in New Zealand.
In this world that we were creating, and it was a special moment for everyone, especially the hobbits, because it was like going home.
You're late.
A wizard is
Never late. He arrives exactly when he means to.
Yeah, Frodo himself making it just in time to catch the couple's I-do's on the actual New Zealand set of Lord of the Rings. surprising moment shared on TikTok with the caption POV. You're getting married in the Shire, and an unexpected guest crashes your wedding.
Never had any adventures or did anything unexpected.
How did that experience being a part of such an iconic...
I wonder how a new film would go nowadays, says Odin. Well, we'll see. I don't think it's a coincidence that he happened to just be in New Zealand. I guarantee you he's there for probably 5 to 6 months recording the new movie. He was obviously invited. Oh, no, yeah, no doubt. I bet you the people that work at Hobbiton probably have an in with Elijah. I guarantee you one of them was just like, hey, you happen to be in town, there's a wedding or something, or he asked them. But anyway, either way, it's a really cool thing. I just thought it was funny that he happened to drop in on their wedding. It's like, no. I think everyone knows why he's there. Pretty cool video, though. I did see that. But as I was saying... Oh, gosh, let me pull this back up. Forgot my notes. Where's my notes? There we go. But yeah, so, again, that kind of delved into that. That's a lot of context. Actually, in the book, I believe once they get over to the Council of Elrond, Gandalf tells, like, I'm not kidding, like, literally Gandalf tells the entire plot of the Hunt for Gollum, which that's something crazy. We'll definitely touch on that, but that whole chapter, the Council of Elrond within the book, is so much better than in the movie. Like, where the movie is better at, in my opinion, in certain points, is a lot of the drama. When it comes to drama and making things more exciting, Peter Jackson does a fantastic job of doing that. But when it comes to, like, the context, and granted, Peter Jackson's only got, what, theatrical release 2.5 hours to fit an entire movie within. You know, there's going to be stuff that's left on, you know, he can't fit in within. So I don't really blame Peter for there being lack of context. But, again, that's just one of the benefits of a book, you know, being a bajillion pages long. But, really cool, yeah. That's all super awesome, but yeah. Like I said, Gandalf literally tells everything that's going on with the Hunt for Gollum. He explains why they're after Gollum, where they find Gollum, what happens to Gollum post them dealing with him. And there's a lot of cool stuff. Like, after reading that one section of the Council of Elrond, like, you can definitely see how they can make a movie out of that, basically. So let's see. Other talking points. A big one, probably the biggest thing that a lot of people critique. A lot of people critique for Peter Jackson having left out of the movies. Something I'm actually happy is not in the movies. Is overall, I would say, the Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil is a huge talking point. A lot of people are always hounding Lord of the Rings. Oh, well, you know, did you know Tom Bombadil? He wears his green shoes and his big pointy hat, and it's like, yeah, most people that are Lord of the Rings nerds know that Tom Bombadil's not there. He's in the books, which, by the way, his representation of him within the Rings of Power TV show was pretty awful, in my opinion. But we won't dig into that. But I for one am happy that Tom Bombadil was kind of left out of the story. Mainly because overall I feel like something that Peter definitely overall left out of the Lord of the Rings, if you guys don't know, is in the book there's a lot of singing. There's a lot of singing. Like, I'm telling you, just about every chapter has somebody singing a song. And I know that the Lord of the Rings does. I know that the trilogy does have, like, every now and then somebody sings a song, but in the books, I'm telling you, these hobbits and these elves and stuff, they just, like, they'll just sit down for a minute and they just start singing, which I think that's something that I like it for brevity's sake being left out of the movie trilogy. The vibes once you get to the Tom Bombadil section within the Fellowship is they definitely, like, drastically change stuff. Like, just even though I like Tom and I like all of the stuff surrounding him, thematically it just is kind of off. Because if you really think about I guess kind of the theming that's kind of happening, what's happening in the moment when Tom Bombadil shows up. If you don't know, Tom Bombadil I guess quick explanation of who Tom Bombadil is. In the books, Tom Bombadil, as the hobbits, Merry, Pippin, Sam, and Frodo are leaving Hobbiton when they're on their way, trying to find their way to. I don't even remember what their end goal is. I think they're trying to get to Bree. Bree is the bar, townhouse, whatever area that they eventually find Aragorn in. When they're on their way to Bree, they have to go through a mysterious, or they're actively trying to avoid the Nazgul or the Black Riders or whatever these. Oh, they actually got them on screen right there. He's trying to escape the Black Riders. They don't know them as the Nazgul by here, but yeah, they're on their way trying to escape. They're fleeing Hobbiton, the Shire, and they're accosted by these guys constantly on their way there. Eventually, they reach a forest that ends up kind of being haunted. They get attacked by an old man. Oh gosh, this is all off the top of my head. I'm doing pretty good. They're attacked by a tree called Old Man Willow, and Old Man Willow almost kills two of the hobbits, Merry and Pippin. Tom Bombadil shows up. He's like a mystical creature. They don't know him. They don't know he's mystical. Or I guess pretty quickly they find out. But as it turns out, Tom Bombadil is this age-old being that possibly has been around since the creation of Middle-earth or something like that. And that basically is his story. Is he's like kind of a tree hugger. You know, he cares deeply about the environment and about the creatures and the earth itself. But he only cares about that. He doesn't care about what's happening outside of his realm, his vicinity, so he refuses to get involved in the wars and to do any of that stuff. He is purely a creature of the forest, of the earth, or Middle Earth, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that Tom Bombadil is a super interesting character. He saves them. Oh no, he saves them twice, not only from Old Man Willow, but he saves them also for something called the Barrow-wights, which is something they don't delve into in the movies at all. That's also another huge chapter that's not there. Is the Barrow-wights are like these ghosts. These ghosts that are like they're kings or represent some sort of figures from the past that attempts to kill the hobbits as well. Kind of like I said, like that stuff, the Barrow-wights and Tom Bombadil, like all of that stuff is interesting to me, but I can understand why I feel like it could have been left out. Oh, his Marigold, is that Bombadil's wife? I can't remember. Odin is Salty in chat says, I heard some musicians doing some songs from Tolkien's books. There was one I remember that was written about the Ents marching to Isengard. That's one of my favorite songs in the movies. The Ents march to Isengard. Something like that. There's more I heard, but they are fun. Oh yeah, I love the music. Who was that? That was, who does the Howard Shore. Howard Shore is like, I really hope they can get Howard back for Hunt for Gollum. That'd be incredible. But, yeah, like I said, I won't touch on Tom Bombadil. That's something most people probably don't even know about if you don't know anything about the books, if you only watch the movies. He has been represented one time in any modern Lord of the Rings, and that's in the Rings of Power they showed him. I mentioned it. Not a good representation of Tom. Again, I can understand why Peter wouldn't have wanted to touch that, because the vibes around Tom are totally drastic. They totally contrast the emotions of the moment and what's happening. And I guess that maybe that was Tolkien's point. But if you think about it, the hobbits are like frantically trying to escape these Black Riders that want to kill them. And then you drastically, while they're like fear for their lives from possibly dying multiple times, Tom just runs in, hopping and skipping and talking about how wonderful the world and everything is. And he's like, oh, my green shoes and my hat. It's just like, I can understand, again, it's a weird thing to try and have both of those feelings going on at the same time. I get it. Okay, so that's one other point. Let me try and find other points I had. Black Riders, let's see. Oh, there's a lot of stuff, yeah. Real quick, there's a character named Farmer Maggot that that is in the movies. They barely touch on him at all. He ends up playing a pretty pivotal role as well. I, for one, kind of, I don't know. I kind of like that they didn't. That's, again, early on. I feel like there's a couple of things I'm okay that they left out. Where we'll definitely touch on it, but again, the Council of Elrond is where I'm going to start having some problems. But yeah, all of that stuff within the farmland, I'm okay that got left out. Let's see. We talked about the Barrow-wights. Okay, yeah, Aragorn's introduction over at the Bree at the the Inn of the Prancing Pony, I think it was called. I think this section is slightly more interesting than what happens in the movies. Aragorn definitely, or I guess they don't know him. What do they know? He's a Strider. That's right. At the time, they only know him as the Strider character, or what is it? Strider or the Ranger. He's known as a Ranger from the North or whatever. I, for one, in the movies, how they handle his introduction, I just feel like there's a little less context into who he is. That's another the great thing that's great about the book form, is the book can give you more in-depth knowledge of what a character is thinking, versus a movie never really can show you what a character is thinking. And in the book, I feel like that's where Aragorn is delved into a little bit deeper, is his thought process of how he's handling, because he kind of just shows up, and his whole goal is to try, and he wants to go with the hobbits to try and protect them on their quest for the ring. He knows they have the ring. He's like a super smart. He's in the know. But in the book, it's far more detailed with like his thought process of trying to get them to become comfortable with him and to let him go along with them. And I don't know. It's really cool. How they end up like agreeing or thinking that, knowing that he is Aragorn and he is friends with ends up being friends with Gandalf the Grey, is through a note that's left with who's the Bree? Oh gosh, there's so many characters. I'm trying to remember names of all these characters. The barkeep at the Prancing Pony, he ends up being left a note from Gandalf while Gandalf is captured by Saruman. But yeah, and through that note, he ends up like saying, "Hey, you should trust Aragorn," if I remember correctly, and all that stuff. So there's a lot more. I would say it's a lot more tricky. Like, I feel like in the movie they kind of just go with Aragorn or whatever, or they believe him very fast. In the book, it's an entire chapter them trying to like agree with him and to go with him. I'm hot. Is my AC on? All right, so we touched on that. Hobbit's Road to Bree. I don't really remember if the Road to Bree was all that different. I feel like for the most part that was pretty samey. I really liked in the extended version they actually show the three trolls that they end up running into. I think that's somewhere around the time after Frodo gets stabbed with the Morgul blade. That stuff I'm pretty sure all is the same. Oh, I will say the one thing that's slightly different about the Road to Bree that's different than the movie, which I'm not quite sure that I like what they did there. But what ends up happening is, if you remember in the movies, the person that ends up showing up and saving Frodo when he's like when they're all fleeing the Black Riders, and that he's, has this curse put upon him by the Morgul blade. Arwen, the daughter of Elrond, ends up showing up, and she's the one that picks him up and essentially gets him to safety. They get over to the river with the if you remember, with the horses in the river, and then Stephen King books also suffered from the same issue where a lot of the books are left out of the adaptation. I remember reading Dr. Sleep and I saw the movie. I wasn't really into it, says Odin Salty. Oh, interesting. Actually, something I'm watching right now, that's what I should have talked about. Oh, maybe I'll talk about that right after this. I forgot that's something I also wanted to talk about was I've been watching the It show. But that's something that's really cool with the new It show. I don't know if you've been watching it, Odin. Welcome to Derry. It's doing a really cool job of like finding a way to connect itself with a lot of the other books and movies that Stephen King has. There's so many references in the new show that it's really cool. I'm really happy with the show so far. I'm super excited for the next episode. What's that, this Sunday or something like that? But yeah, I don't need to touch on that, but I get where you're going. I don't know. I think that's why I like what Peter Jackson has done with The Lord of the Rings, is even though when it got a little gross, him extending The Hobbit to 3 movies, for the most part, the guy cares about the source material. He cares about the characters, getting them right. And I just love his way of doing it. I'm super excited for Hunt for Gollum, and that's the most important thing to me, is when someone adapts something, is whether you care about the source material. which when you go and you watch the Rings of Power TV show, that was clearly the flaw with that show, is they did not care, they did not give a lick, or they didn't understand the source material. And yeah, I don't know, that's always a big problem. Any adaptation, source material is also always super important. Odin Salty says, I haven't watched it, but I'm glad they're showing more of it. I won't say anything, but I'm liking seeing this earlier It stuff. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm on episode 3. The newer one is 4. I think that comes out this Sunday. So, all right. So, oh shoot, I lost my trail of thought. Oh, in the movie, Arwen, she's the one that shows up and saves them. In the book, it is not Arwen. It is, oh gosh, I forgot the character's name. It's who is it? It's oh, Glorfindel. That's right. Instead of Arwen, it is a character called Glorfindel that ends up showing up. He really doesn't do a heck of a whole lot. I know he seems like he's kind of a big deal within Elrond's inner circle, but like Glorfindel really doesn't. He kind of shows up and he does all the same stuff with that Arwen was doing, except getting romantic with Aragorn. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like what Peter did with Arwen. He made Arwen probably more meaningful and more important with the story. She really didn't do all that much in the Fellowship. They barely touch on her romance with Aragorn. It's kind of just like there's like a little dinner that happens and she's there and it's like boop, you know, okay, yep, there's a thing between them, and then that's all you really know about their romance. So that is that was something I definitely think was beneficial for the Lord of the Rings movie. Was you know, not that I care, I'm not like a romance guy, but like I definitely think the relationship aspect of Arwen and Aragorn in the Fellowship, at least, I don't know if they delve on it more, but that was something I feel like was definitely a good thing for Peter to have you know, messed around with, I feel like. Okay, so I feel like we are at Council of Elrond, so I'm gonna try and be quick. This is the longest, I think. I can't imagine. I feel like this has to be the longest chapter in the Lord of the Rings, completely. For me, it took me 2 nights to finish the chapter. I read it was like 35 pages or something like that, and I read like half of the pages one night, which took me like an hour, and then the next night I read the other half, and that took me like 2 hours to read that one chapter, which was crazy. It felt like it was almost double what a normal chapter had been up to that point. So yeah, I'd be surprised if in any other books there's a chapter as long as that one. In my opinion, this is where the movie falls very short of the books, is when you get to the Council of Elrond. There's so much context, there's so much cool stuff that's left behind. First off, if you guys don't know, in the movies, or in the books versus the movie, Frodo has an entire like really cool conversation dialogue with Gloin. If you don't know, Gloin is one of the original hobbits that was in the, you know, the original grouping. And it's so much cooler, this conversation that happens with Gloin and Frodo. Gloin they talk about all of like what happened with every character in every region from The Hobbit over like the 100 years or whatever it's gone since then. And Gloin's like, yeah, this is what happened to this character, this hobbit, you know, this hobbit. This is what happened with Beorn, the giant bear person, and his future relatives. This is what happened with Dane, who Dane ended up being Thorin Oakenshield. Dane is Thorin Oakenshield's cousin, who ends up taking over the Misty Mountains. You know, he ends up becoming king at the end of that. He talks about his future lineage and what happens there. Another cool thing is the probably one of the big things that I feel like is in the movies. If you don't know, there's a section called the Mines of Moria, and in the Mines of Moria, Gimli, one of the original members of the Hobbit, not Gimli, but one of the other members of the Hobbit being, oh gosh, what's his name? Ah, gosh, I'm telling you, man, Lord of the Rings, I'm bad with names. Here lies Balin, that's right. Balin ended up being one of the original members of the Hobbit. They're essentially, at one point in the lore, there's an entire war that takes place in the Mines of Moria. Mines of Moria was like a major stronghold for the dwarves. Eventually, it gets ransacked, it gets overrun. There's a giant war that happens there. A bunch of all the dwarves die, and then like orcs come in, they take over the region, and then eventually Balin ends up gathering up his own force from the Misty Mountains, and they go over and they try and take back the Misty Mountains. And that's the last time that a lot of the dwarves, anybody hears from Balin. So in the movies, you don't know any of this, though. In the movies, all you know is that... Gloin said, here, have some lore on these peeps, said Skylar. Exactly, yeah. In the movie, all you know is that... I just mean, like, in the movies, Gandalf is the only one that gives off any emotions or feeling that, like, he knows what's happened at the Misty Mountain, or not the Misty, at the Mines of Moria. And in the movies, it just seems as though, like nobody knows, but then in the books, like, Gloin gives off the feeling that, like, he even says that, like, yeah, everyone, all of us know that, like, that they haven't seen Gloin in, like, or they haven't seen Balin in, like, 10, 20 years or something like that. So it's like, again, that's context that, like, everybody knows that their mission that Balin went on to, like, take back the Mines of Moria. Most people know that, like, that was a failed mission and that they're all dead. But, like, in the movies, Gimli, son of Gloin, I think he's the son of Gloin. In the movies, he's kind of so, like, no, they're alive. My cousin Balin will welcome us, and it'll be a grand meal for all of us, and whatever. And it's like, gosh, my voice is starting to crackle already. And it's just like, I don't know. It just seems like everyone, like, they even say that, like, even Boromir is terrified of the Mines of Moria in the books. And in the movies, like, they kind of just, like, glaze over everyone being afraid of that, and it's like, it's strictly just Gandalf being afraid of Moria. And I don't know, again, context. It's just stuff you don't know. Again, the whole stuff with Gloin is awesome. Everything that takes place, again, Gandalf explains the entire story that's going to be upcoming for the Hunt of Gollum in the book. So you can see why it would be a long chapter. They literally talk about the lore and placement of, like, everybody. Frodo and all his group explain to the group their entire story of how they got there, and it's great. Again, I would say the Council of Elrond is the one big aspect of the book that is probably much better than the movie. Everything else I feel like is, you know, pretty A-okay. Pretty on the spot, in my opinion. So that, again, I don't mean to go on for that one chapter. That's probably the one chapter I should go on off of. So let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and just skip on ahead. What do we have? Other chapters I had. The gifts from Galadriel. A lot of the stuff that happens in Lothlorien. That's the stuff that happens with Galadriel the Fair or whatever. Yeah, I mean, the rest of it's just... I would say after everything that happens in the Mines of Moria, I would say is pretty on spot with what happens within... How much of this video? Oh, with what happens with the movie. I feel like the movie after the Mines of Moria is pretty spot on, except for one thing I will touch on. Let's see. No. Oh, yeah. I guess the only one thing different from the movie and the book is just like the very ending. In the very ending of the movie, it ends with this giant fight between the Uruk-hai orcs and Aragorn and his group as they're looking for Frodo. Whereas in the movies, they don't even get... In the movie, there's just a slight time difference. At the end of the book, it ends with Frodo and Sam just going off on their own, and then it cuts. Whereas in the movie, it ends with them going off on their own, but there's also this big fight that takes place with Aragorn and all of the group. Since I started the Two Towers, the very first chapter, that whole fight is moved over to the in the first chapter of the book. So that is a subtle difference. I, for one, am glad that Peter didn't leave out the fight. I definitely feel like it makes the end of the first movie stronger, having the entire fight there and dealing with the death of Boromir super early, or at the end of the movie. I'm kind of glad that's not something that he did decide to tackle in the second book or in the second movie. I don't know. I just feel like it makes the ending a little more impactful. Like, I feel like the way it ends in the book is a little like, oh, okay, they paddle off and they go off on their own in their boat, and it's like Frodo and Sam, and it's just like, I don't know, good thing, good on you. Okay, I guess that's all. I'm gonna move on from this. I know this is probably boring. Maybe it's boring, me nerd rambling on about Lord of the Rings. I love this series. I loved reading The Hobbit. I loved reading Lord of the Rings again. I've already started on the Two Towers. I'll talk about that one. That one's actually by far the shortest book out of the three. So yeah, we'll get to that. Again, if you're comparing the extended version, to the books or the Fellowship of the Ring book, I definitely feel like what Peter did is I think Peter accomplished what his goal was. Is there a lot of context and some stuff left out from the books that could have been very useful? I definitely think that would have been the case. But what Peter did succeed, if that was his goal, was he made the movies far more dramatic for film. Which, hey, it's a movie. You know what I mean? Like I honestly feel like how Peter handled it was the right way. And that's it. All right, everyone. That's Lord of the Rings. I'll let you know when I'm done with the Two Towers. I almost yapped for that for 55 minutes. Goodness gracious. I yap in my own head sometimes. It's entertaining to me, says Odin. I'm enjoying the yap session, said Skylar. Well, I appreciate y'all. All right, so real quick, I'm tired of talking. I just got done talking for that entire time. So if you guys, someone mentioned it in the disc or in the chat just now, but there was a new video game console released today, which I don't know anything about. This one will let me, I won't have to talk as much during this. I feel like my mouse, I don't know if I've talked that much straight without drinking anything in a while. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch this little 6-minute video. Steam dropped a brand new video game console today. And I'm kind of curious what the specifics are on this thing. I just saw a picture of it, so I know what it looks like. Here we go.
Hey everyone, this is Steam
loud?
Deck.
Yeah, that's very loud.
Steam Deck is our powerful, portable, handheld gaming PC that lets you take your Steam library with you anywhere.
All right, let me know how that audio is.
People who own Steam Decks have been playing everywhere, and we couldn't be happier with the response we've heard from all of you. We're excited to talk about the future of Steam Deck, but not today, because this isn't a video about the future of Steam Deck. This is a video about the future of Steam hardware. Today, we're announcing 3 new members of the Steam hardware lineup, all connecting with powerful PC
I haven't drank my
gaming.
coffee yet.
All are optimized for gaming with Steam, and all are shipping in early 2026. Let's start with this one.
People are calling it the Gabe Cube. Oh, Gabe, Lord Gaben.
This is the new Steam controller. The new Steam controller puts all of your Steam
Do I
games
still have my? I don't think I ever opened my Steam controller. Where's mine? Yeah, I never even opened mine. Mine's still sealed. Got all this dust on top. There's my Steam controller. I mean, this is like what, probably now the older model or something. I mean, that one does look different. That one's got like pads on it. But yeah, I never even used this thing. I think I only bought it because it was on sale or something. I think I got it for like dirt cheap. It was like 20-30 bucks or something online. Which was cool.
at your fingertips, so you can play wherever and however you want. Just like with
Wherever,
Steam Deck, we
whenever
want you to be able to play any game
you
with your
want
Steam
to play your
controller.
controller.
Even games never built with a controller in mind.
Unboxing
It
time,
has
said
all the great
Veronica.
features from Steam
No.
Deck, like trackpads,
Might as well just
gyro,
leave
and
it
back
leave it
buttons,
boxed.
all in a comfortable form factor. Its next-generation magnetic thumbsticks let you play with improved responsiveness and longevity. We've put capacitive touch sensors on the thumbsticks and now on the back of the controller too, so you can enable precision gyro aiming with the touch of your thumb.
Ooh,
or
he
your
said
pinky
gyro.
if you're feeling fancy. Play for way too long with a rechargeable lithium-ion battery that allows for over 35 hours of playtime. With Steam Controller, we want to make charging and wireless pairing something that's actually easy. That's why we created the Puck. The Puck is a combination wireless adapter and magnetic charger included with every Steam controller. Snap it on to charge. Once you're charged up, snap it off again. You can play over Bluetooth or a wired connection too. The new Steam controller works with any device running Steam or Steam Launch.
So, I'm sure they'll touch on it, but is this Steam like trying to come after Xbox in the console market? Like, cause Xbox has been saying they want to get out of. They kind of like I've been kind of showing that they want to get out of the console market, but is Steam like saying, nah, I want in on the like Xbox's whole. I'm sorry. I always bring up Xbox just because I'm a fanboy, but like, or former fanboy, I should say. But like you see, all of these companies are going more in the direction of console stuff, and Xbox is like trying to get out. And I'm like, is that beneficial for Xbox at all? Like, their parent company, Microsoft, all it does is just talk about like, it puts out all these numbers talking about how bad Microsoft's doing. And yet Microsoft keeps doing stuff that like nobody kind of wants. So I don't know. It does look like Steam is really trying to eat Xbox's lunch now. Yeah, which shouldn't be the case. Xbox has so much money behind it with Microsoft. How is the Xbox not? I mean, I guess it's got to be greed, right? The parent company Microsoft is just bad management and maybe corporate greed. I don't know. I don't understand the amount of IPs and video games that Xbox owns. I don't know how that company's in. I don't know why it is where it is.
Whether it's a PC, Mac, handheld, smartphone, Steam Deck, or the new Steam machine.
I mean, maybe the saving grace for them is the ROG thing, the handheld, but like at that price point, I don't think that's going to be a saving grace for Xbox just because of the price point. Like, it could be the best handheld ever, but like for $1,000, I'll just get a new PC. You know, I don't know. I like PCs. I don't know. I don't need a the only handheld I have is my Switch. Any Switches I have, you know. I don't know. I think Steam is just trying to really break the mold and show how gaming tech can be done. Oh, I'm sure.
This is the new Steam machine.
That is a Series X.
Steam Machine is a powerful gaming PC in a small but mighty package, designed for your games on the big screen. It's quiet too, which is crazy since it's 6 times more powerful than a Steam Deck, powered by a discrete, semi-custom AMD GPU, enabling 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR.
4K?
Steam Machine runs SteamOS, made for a bigger screen.
Wait, hold on.
Built for gaming in your
what did he
living
say?
room.
Did he say 120 or?
GPU, enabling 4K gaming at 60 frames per second with FSR.
Only 60? Why? I mean, forgive me for my lack of knowledge for hardware, but like, I mean, isn't like I would think right 120? They can't reach 120 with the modern hardware. I don't know anything. Maybe 60 is like really good.
Steam Machine runs SteamOS.
I mean, I know 60 is good, but like
built for gaming in
I
your
would
living
think
room,
120
your
is like the
office,
next step.
or wherever you play, with the rest of your PC accessories. Steam Machine borrows some great features from Steam Deck,
SteamOS.
like lightning fast sleep and wake, an SD card slot to easily expand your storage, and brings some new tricks of its own, like a customizable LED strip, which can show different system functionalities, or your own light show. Steam Machine is a PC, so run whatever software you want, and it works with all your favorite desktop and gaming accessories. Steam Machine is designed to work hand in hand with the Steam controller, with the low latency, wireless connectivity of the Steam controller puck built right in. And it's great for streaming your games to your phone, tablet, laptop, Steam Deck, or Steam Frame.
Ooh.
Oh, yep, this is Steam Frame.
So is this a new VR headset? What is Steam Frame?
Steam Frame is Valve's next-generation VR hardware. Stream all your Steam games, VR and non-VR alike, in this comfortable, lightweight, wireless VR headset. Steam Frame uses camera-based tracking, so getting into your games is as easy as slipping on the headset and waking it up. Steam Frame
nice.
controllers, included with the headset, are designed with all the inputs you need for your VR titles, like motion controls and capacitive tracking for all your fingers, as well as a split gamepad layout to work with your whole Steam library. They even feature the same magnetic thumbsticks as Steam Controller for responsiveness and longevity. Steam Frame also pairs seamlessly with the new
Hades
Steam Controller,
2.
a great companion for playing non-VR
I
games
like
in the
Hades
headset.
2.
To make sure streaming is smooth and stable no matter what, Steam Frame includes a wireless adapter that lets you stream your games from your PC to your headset over a fast and
Half-Life.
dedicated Wi-Fi 6 connection.
I think
and
it's
the game is
Half-Life.
streamed to your frame optimized for VR, using new technology that
Most
allows
people
for
don't
the
play
highest
4K 120
resolution streaming
FPS as far as I
exactly
can.
where your eyes are
Maybe
looking.
that's not the standard
And Steam
just
Frame
yet.
is a PC running Steam OS. In addition to streaming, you can install and play a bunch of VR and non-VR games right in the headset without a host PC. You can also expand your onboard storage to fit even more games with a micro SD card. Steam Controller, Steam Machine, and Steam Frame. All built with the same DNA as Steam Deck. All powered by Steam, work together, and can be used however you'd like with whatever peripherals and accessories you choose.
That's cool.
Everything you see here is the culmination of what we've learned from our previous hardware experience and what we've wanted ourselves as gamers. Powerful PC gaming in an open ecosystem, giving you more ways to enjoy the games you love and discover new
All
ones.
of this costs
Steam Controller,
$50,000.
Steam Machine, and Steam Frame are all shipping in early 2026.
Ooh.
Learn more at steampowered.com/hardware.
Too bad I'm unemployed right now. Actually, I won't be able to buy any of this. Who wants to... Chat, you guys want to send me money, right? Chat, send me 2,000. I'm guessing all this is probably 2,000 bucks. The console's gonna be 1,000. The controller probably be 200 or 300 bucks. VR headset maybe 500, 400 or 500. Minimum maybe 1,700, 1,800 bucks for all this, I think. Yeah, I feel like 1,700, 1,800 bucks maybe for all that. Now this is one of the video. I kind of wanted to see my boy Young Yeah. Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out. Let's see what he has to say. I'm really interested in the Steam Machine. Sounds like it could be something I'd like. I have $1. Take it or leave it. $2. Or no, Patrick would be like, I got $1. Take it or leave it. Patrick would be like 50 cents. Skylar, 2K, now I'd give you 20 bucks. I'll take it. It's 20 bucks I didn't have to work for. I'll take it. All right, real quick, let's see what my boy Young Yeah. I can't ever get that out of my head how he says that. All right, guys, I'm Young Yeah, and I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Out of freaking nowhere, Steam has dropped a bombshell that has the potential to change the gaming landscape. Folks, we have new Steam hardware coming. It all started with a Steam Deck, which proved to be massively...
By the way, go subscribe and check out Young Yeah. I just want to make sure I say that. I like Young. I've been watching him for a while.
popular, and now we are being introduced to a new Steam controller, the Steam Machine, which is essentially a PC console hybrid that, leans more into PC, but has a console-like experience with Steam OS and the controller, and the Steam Frame, which is a new VR headset. And what's really interesting is the timing of this, because Xbox recently has been strongly hinting that their next-gen console will be a PC console hybrid, and Steam essentially is kind of...
So Steam is... I guess so. Yeah, I guess this. I think Young's gonna say it, but I think this is Steam trying to beat Xbox to the market for this kind of product. Again, now that I'm thinking about it, the great thing about these the consoles, like with Sony and Nintendo, is the great thing though is like Sony and Nintendo, they have such strong IPs, such video game heavy consumer base where. The PlayStation people and the Nintendo people, they just want their specific video games. They want their God of Wars, Uncharted, Last of Us, Mario, Donkey Kong. They have such strong IPs that they're in great positions because what they can do is they don't have to beat Xbox or Steam to the market for this kind of stuff. They can wait it out. They can say, we'll be the last ones to go and make products like this. You guys can go at it because people like, I mean, maybe not, I don't know if Steam doesn't really make, I don't know if Steam has IPs, but what this hurts Steam doing this is Xbox, in my opinion, at this point, seems like they're dependent on this market, eventually getting into this market. So to me, that's super harmful to Xbox. Steam's beating them to market. I mean, if Xbox is going this route where what Steam is doing now is what Xbox is trying to do, then you can't, I don't know how else to say that. To me, it just seems like this should be harmful to Xbox. The fact that someone else is going to, already be there by the time they're trying to do their thing. And it's like, again, Xbox is so weird. They're in such a weird spot right now. Odin Salty in chat says, now I'm expecting Xbox to announce something. Sounds like they got to hurry before Steam snatches it. Oh, yeah. Odin's got the right idea. That's what I'm thinking is, yeah, it's just like, gosh, my voice. Is like they're jumping into something that Xbox should probably have already done or been planning to do. Because now, I mean, we're almost into 2026. This new Xbox console that's going to be all like this Steam thing. When's that thing going to come out? That's not going to be the end of you're not going to Xbox is not releasing that thing within a year. So I would guess if you do see the new Xbox console, 2027 is when you're going to see it, right? Unless they have something up their sleeve, but I wouldn't venture to guess you're going to see their non-console console, whatever this thing is that you call that people are getting into. It's basically a PC, right? I don't know. Well, let's let Young explain more. I really want to know
beaten
more.
them to that race. But before we get to the wider implications of how this can impact gaming, let's actually look at the individual hardware, starting with the Steam Machine, which is, I think, the thing that a lot of people are going to be interested in, which is essentially a consoleized version of the Steam Deck. I mean, it's just a PC, right? I mean, it's going to run Steam OS.
It's a
going to have
PC
the same
tower.
basic principles as a Steam OS, but it's going to be a stationary device that's going to live in your living room, and it's going to make PC gaming and accessing your library from the comfort of your couch just a more frictionless experience. It feels like it's an attempt to bridge the gap between console gamers and PC gamers. What's crazy about this hardware is how small it is. I mean, you can see right here, just looking at the hand size and comparing it to the machine, from what hands-on experiences have described from major outlets, it's basically like the size of a GameCube, except it can run games like AAA games at 4K. Though, of course, you'll have to modify some settings, and also you have to use AI upscaling and the like to be able to run some of those games at 4K, but it has that capability. But it is essentially a 6-inch cube that is meant for 4K 60 FPS gaming with FSR. Scrolling down here, we can find the tech specs. The CPU is a semi-custom AMD Zen 4, which goes up to 4.8 gigahertz and a 30-watt TDP. The GPU is a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3, and then there are two specs with which you can get this hardware with.
Hold on, go back. I want to read that. Okay, so we got AMD Zen 4. Let's see, 4.8 gigahertz. That's really good. Some AMD RDNA. I don't know. There's certain things I know about. So 16 gigs DDR5. I think my PC is DDR4, so that's really good. Plus 8 gigs GDV RAM. Gosh, that thing is gonna be super. That's very nice. So there's gonna be two models. One has 512 gigs. That immediately is going to be out the window. You're going to have to go with that 2 terabyte. For modern games, having 512s is just not, unless it's expandable, which it says both models include a high-speed micro SD card slot. So, yeah, I mean, I guess if it does have expandable, memory, that's probably, that 512 actually wouldn't be such a bad deal if you can just buy a micro SD card that has a terabyte or 2 on it. Yeah, it all seems really good. 16 gigs RAM, DDR5, and then 8 VRAM. That seems super solid to me. Again, I'm not like super PC guy, but all that sounds super up there. And then the Zen 4. I don't remember what mine is. I know mine's an AMD Zen. I don't remember. Otis Charlie says, also the fact that Steam has really good sales might hurt Xbox too, since the Xbox users might want better deals. Also, the PC console hybrid will most likely play Xbox games too. Gets rid of the middleman. Yeah.
The RDNA 3, and then there are 2 specs with which you can get this hardware with. You've got a storage of 512 gigabytes NVMe SSD and a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD. I think with this being a PC gaming centric device, you'd be hard pressed to not get that 2 terabyte version, though you can opt to get the 512 gigabyte version and expand your storage with micro SD.
It's really not a big deal.
And then you've got your usual Wi-Fi, Bluetooth.
The fact that you can expand the memories.
HDMI 2.0 is a little disappointing. I wish it was 2.1, but it'll get the job done.
What do you say? HDMI displays up to 4K 240. What the heck is daisy chaining? I'm so out of the loop on certain things. HDMI 2.0. How many 2.0s does it have, though? Oh, that's HDMI 2.0. I'm thinking of the USB 2.0. That's what I was wondering. So it's got 2 3.2 Gen 1 ports in the front, 2 USB 2.0. Gosh. That's the one thing I hate about my PC is probably the one thing like I wish it had is more USB ports. I feel like I never have enough USB ports. I'm sure I could look into it. Maybe there's like extenders or adapters I can get to add more, but I think I'm definitely going to try copying this. Just have to be employed. LOL. It'd be mighty hard to cop one of these if you're not employed. I'm speaking from experience, probably. True, it doesn't sound too bad to have. No, really. Like, I mean, although I don't really yet know the price point, but I'm gonna guess the console is probably gonna be $1,000. Honestly, if they were to sell this for anything under $1,000, if this was $700 or $800, I bet you this would destroy whatever Xbox has in plan, whatever they're planning for.
And as far as USB ports go, you've got 2 USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 ports in the front, 2 USB-A 2.0 high-speed ports in the back, and 1 USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port in the back. For comparison, the power that this device has is sort of the equivalent of an RTX 4060 or an AMD RX 7600M, with Valve claiming that the Steam machine is roughly 6 times the horsepower of the Steam Deck, so plenty of power for such a small package. Now, is this the most powerful PC ever made? Of course not, but it is a pretty capable PC that is probably going to be priced very competitively. I would suspect that at the lowest end, this device is going to be in the high hundreds. The 2 terabyte version might be like $1,000 or less. The pricing is paramount for a device like this to be able to garner mass market appeal, but
what did
so
he say?
far in terms of specs and the strategy, the pricing is paramount for a device like this to be able to garner mass market appeal, but so far in terms of specs and the strategy that they're pursuing, it sounds like they are aiming for something really affordable that also is very capable. And then you've got the new Steam controller, and
so it depends. Like, I feel like if the 2 terabyte one is at 1,000 and the smaller one is at 750 or 800 or under that, that would be killer. If you can get this thing for $700 to $800, the 512 gig, that would be really, really good. Now, if the base model, the 512 gig, is 1,000, and then the 2 terabyte is like 1,200, then you're reaching into this. Should they just go buy a PC at that point? You know what I mean? But for that price point, I feel like for 800 to 1,000, that's a really great value for it. Let's face it, it's a PC. You're buying a PC with those specs I was looking at. To me, that looks like straight up just a PC that is going to be way easier to do all the stuff that I do here, like running Discord. I wonder if like capturing stuff, am I going to be able to run OBS and stuff through this thing? That'd be very cool. If it can do stuff like that, then this thing might be worth it to me, honestly. Because if that thing can do the stuff that I want to do on my PC, that means that I won't have to be using as much RAM and stuff on my PC, and I could do more over here. And ipso facto, interesting. Really hope it's not 1,000, says Odin Salty. 700 to 800 doesn't sound too bad as long as it will be future proof for a while, says Odin. Yes. For the 512 gig, 700 to 800 I think is probably more realistic. And I hate this. I would love for it to be even cheaper. Obviously, I don't want to spend that much money, but I can't imagine though when you consider the price of PC parts and just how expensive it is to build one. I can't imagine it'd be cheaper. If it's sub $800, the 512 one, in my opinion, that's a killer deal. If you can get this thing for 800 or less, that's a killer PC or gaming PC. You know what I mean? Granted, probably not a PC. I don't know if it's gonna have browser features and stuff like that, but like, yeah, that'd be great. You can also upgrade some of the specs on this device from what I saw. Oh, that's interesting. I just do. Get out of here. Editing software.
One loved the original Steam controller, but it could use some improvements, and pretty much every complaint you could have about the original was addressed with this new design, and it has all the features that you would expect: the trackpad, all of your usual inputs, the 2 back buttons, motion controls, so on and so forth, as well as this puck that is a really cool design. This puck is both a wireless transmitter and a thing that charges your Steam controller, and it attaches magnetically, so it's super easy to just kind of engage with this and attach and detach your controller and make it wireless or wired. And ergonomically, it just looks really comfortable. The button placements and everything, I'll have to get my hands on it to say for sure how it feels, but I'm liking the placement of everything so far with the 2 trackpads easily accessible. And then there's a Steam Frame, which is basically Steam's latest VR headset that not only plays games wirelessly from whatever you connect this little USB dongle to, that transmits data at really fast speeds to the point where it's indiscernible in terms of like, lag and whatnot. And this, according to outlets like, Linus Tech Tips, who have gone hands-on with this and have said that, yeah, it works incredibly well, but natively it's also like a PC that can...
Steam, I'm a big YouTuber. Come on, Steam. Send me free products. I would love anything free. Don't care. Or give me a discount, man. I'll stream your device. Imagine since it's Steam, it will have a desktop mode or put whatever you want on it. Steam Deck had that, I believe. Oh, okay. That, again, really cool.
Games and whatnot in the headset itself. You don't have to rely on a separate PC to play VR games on this thing. Though if you want to play the highest end VR games with the highest end graphics, you might want to have a separate PC that you can connect this dongle to. And it's got, technology like, it rendering things at the highest resolution wherever you're looking. And that way they save on power, which is a technology that a lot of VR headsets use now, but it's nice to see it in this headset. And the computer itself is being run on the following processor: a 4nm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is one of the more modern ARM chipsets that are used in some of the latest smartphones and tablets, and you name it. It's got, quite a bit of RAM, and you've got multiple options for storage: 256 gigabytes or 1 terabyte. And then beyond that, the ocular displays are actually pretty high resolution: 2160 by 2160 LCD per eye with up to 144 hertz refresh rate. It's not quite the level of something like the Apple Vision Pro, which is like 30-something by 30-something micro OLED per eye. That display is absolutely gorgeous for that kind of VR experience, but that's more a machine dedicated for AR. This being more VR, I think this resolution is more than adequate, and it's going to make games look really good. And I'm curious to see what this device will be priced at. So what Steam is doing here is creating this whole family of devices that work together with each other seamlessly. And I mean, all these devices can link with each other, and it's actually a really cool strategy. Now, Xbox's own Phil Spencer has come out to congratulate Valve and Steam on this announcement, highlighting how this is the best strategy for gaming moving forward, because Xbox, they don't want to do the traditional model that Nintendo and PlayStation are still pursuing of releasing dedicated consoles that have exclusives and whatnot. What Xbox is planning for is essentially a console PC hybrid. They've hinted that the next-gen Xbox will be akin to like the ROG Xbox Ally, which is basically a handheld PC. And so Phil Spencer said this about the Steam machine. And
I don't want to hear what Phil Spencer has. You need to focus on your own dang company.
Have more ways to play and create, especially across open platforms. Expanding access across PC, console, and handheld devices reflects a future built on choice, core values.
This makes me very angry because I used to like Phil. And as someone who's an Xbox fan, Phil, worry about your own company, man. I don't care that you think this is great because this is the direction you want your company in. I don't want to hear about you. Like, this is me being serious. Like, I'm an Xbox guy. I don't care what your opinion is on what Valve is doing. What are you doing with Halo right now? What are you doing with Gears of War? What's up with Fable? What's up with Elder Scrolls, dude? What's up with Fallout? Like, come on. Like, I want to know, like, I can't tell you the frustration I have with Xbox right now. Like I don't care about whatever else that they got. Like, I don't mean to be mean to Phil. I mean, he's a person too. He's allowed to be excited for something like this. But like, as a fan, it's just like, it's frustrating, man. It's like, dude, what's up with your stuff? Like, stop focusing on what freaking Valve is doing or PlayStation is doing. I'm just, I'm happy that we're bringing Halo over to PlayStation, or we're bringing this over. It's like, okay, I don't care. You know, as an Xbox fan, I don't care about any of that. I want to know what your IPs, what your video games are doing. You know what I mean? I don't know. I hate to sound like a disappointed dad, but that's what I feel like with Xbox right now. It's like I'm not like mad, but I'm disappointed. Like I'm expecting more out of Xbox, and Xbox has been like freaking. I'm not even getting the perfect Dart game I was looking forward to. Like what am I getting? What am I getting for being an Xbox fan? I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe I need to stop being a like, cause I'm not really a fanboy like I used to be. Like I used to be like, oh, I only buy Xbox. I don't buy anything. Now I have everything, and I like having everything. But it's like, it's frustrating because Xbox owns IPs that I want to see things done with, and I just don't feel like they do very good with those IPs. Like, if Xbox were to like shut down their shop and they're like, oh, the Xbox, we're getting rid of the Xbox brand and we're selling off all of these IPs. I'd be like, okay, whatever, you sell off Xbox, but where are you putting these IPs? Who are you selling these IPs to? I care more about certain IPs within Xbox than I do, you know, like whatever. You guys do what you want with your console, like whatever. But like if they shut everything down, I would want to know who's going to take ownership of Gears or Halo, Fable, whatever, freaking Fallout. You know what? I want to know who's taking ownership of that stuff, so I can know if it's in freaking better hands. Odin Salty in chat says, I copped Half-Life 2 and some other bangers. Need a device to play them. As I still haven't even finished that Batman freaking VR game I bought forever ago. I need to do that.
That have guided Xbox's vision from the start. As one of the largest publishers on Steam, we welcome new options for players to access games anywhere. Congrats on today's announcement. Now, it's nice to see this kind of rapport and support, but it is worth highlighting that this puts Xbox in a precarious position. The new strategy that Xbox is pursuing is essentially the Steam strategy that Steam is pursuing, especially with the announcement of this new hardware. Except Xbox doesn't have the ecosystem and infrastructure that Steam does in the PC space. From what reports say, Xbox's next-gen hardware will be powerful, but that also means that it'll be a significantly higher price point where it might not be as appealing as, say, this Steam machine that will likely be significantly cheaper, maybe not as powerful as the next-gen Xbox PC console hybrid, but affordability is a major factor in a console or a piece of hardware garnering mass market appeal. And then there's the fact that the Steam machine is running the same operating system as the Steam Deck, which is one of the things that Steam Deck was praised for. The issue right now with Windows for gaming is that Windows is a major point of friction for gaming due to the fact that Windows wasn't designed for gaming, so that operating system with its constant updates and upkeep and all these things that get in the way of quickly getting to your games, that is the thing that Microsoft has to solve for their next-gen console. Maybe they're already working on it. Maybe they'll surprise us with the new operating system that they announced or the version of Windows that they kind of put out there for the next-gen Xbox. But until that is at the level that Steam Deck is at with SteamOS and how seamless that experience is and how games like tend to perform better on SteamOS because that operating system is so lean and so like specifically tailored to play games, until Windows get to that level, I don't think that next-gen Xbox running Windows will have the kind of appeal that traditional consoles do where it's just super easy to jump in. It's just plug and play. Now, that's not to say that the Steam machine is completely seamless like traditional consoles, due to the fact that it is still a PC, and because of its hardware not being top of the line, a lot of hands-on experiences have noted that they did have to go into the settings and tweak things to find the perfect settings that would make the game run at an adequate frame rate while also having the best visual fidelity the machine can output.
Yeah, but I bet you the settings are probably far more, I don't know, probably far more convenient for people. There probably isn't a boatload for people to have to run through, whereas versus with a PC, I mean, you got like 50 different things you're looking at, and most of the time I have no idea what I'm looking at. But like, I don't know. I would guess if there is still some fine tuning you have to do to get your game to look what you want it, there's probably only like 4 different things you got to mess with. I can't imagine it would be that for something like this. What I like about Steam is that they act more like a private company instead of a publicly traded company, so they don't really need to meet margins and other stuff for shares and stocks, unlike Xbox, is what you're saying, says Odin. So they can just focus on making a service that cares for gamers. Yeah. Steam definitely, in my opinion, comes off as more consumer-friendly, whereas, in my opinion, that's been the total opposite of Microsoft. Microsoft, to me, has been the total opposite of consumer-friendly the last handful of years, mainly because, again, when it comes to Xbox, what I care about with Xbox is the IPs, and I feel like they're so focused on like the family value or the family aspect of the consoles they're so focused on the subscription service of Game Pass, and they're focused when, like, as a gamer, as a fan of Xbox, what I want you to focus on is your games. I want you to focus on that. Like, if you were to focus on that stuff, maybe you wouldn't need to be so dependent on like Game Pass or so focused on no, we're moving out of the console market. It's like, I don't care if you're moving out. Okay, where's my, I don't know. I'm far more like what have you done for me lately than anything, you know. That's what I care about most, is like, what have you done for me lately, Xbox? You know what I mean? That's what I care about. Hokey.
But so there is that element that traditional consoles don't have to deal with, but I think Xbox has an even greater level of friction with Windows being involved. At least SteamOS is lean and efficient. And I think Steam as a platform just has been primed for this kind of hardware and this kind of strategy in ways that Xbox hasn't, because for the longest time, Xbox has marketed itself as just a traditional console competitor, a la Nintendo and PlayStation. So Xbox can certainly attempt to make this transition, and maybe it'll go well if they play their cards right and if the execution of the next-gen hardware and its operating system is well done. But Steam kind of beating them to it and having a better offer and proposition, both in terms of pricing and the kind of navigation experience, the UI and the operating system and the ecosystem of Steam, that's where I think
So how much is a Steam Deck? That's something let me look it up. So, because I know the new Xbox ROG, whatever, it's like 1,000. How much is a Steam Deck? Steam Deck. Like, how much can you get one for? Wow, you can get a Steam Deck for $400 right now? Sheesh. I don't know why I didn't notice that. So, a Steam Deck is literally half the price of the ROG? Holy cow. I mean, maybe this thing will be like $700 or $800. I'm telling you, if they throw this thing out and it's less than $800, I would be shocked. If you can get one for less than $800, Xbox is not at the position where they can compete with that. I'm sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong, Xbox can compete with that. They've got so much backing and money from Microsoft. But are they willing to try and compete and to take a hit for that? Again, they can, but do they want to? I don't think Microsoft would let them sell something like this for $600, $700, $800. I don't see it, you know.
It's between a rock and a hard place kind of situation where they kind of fall short of what everyone else is doing in the traditional console space. Next-gen Xbox will fall short because it is going to be a PC that has some friction points compared to...
Otis Audi says, I'm surprised PlayStation hasn't stepped into the PC market much. They had a PSVR device you could use for PC, and they also had some Steam games, but think about it. Maybe they will do more stuff. Maybe, again, the good thing about PlayStation and Nintendo is because they have such a connectivity with their IPs, with the games that they own, their entire model of what they're doing can just ride off of that, and they can be late. They can afford to be late to the game on these new gaming niches like what Steam and Xbox are doing. Like, they can afford to be late to the game. And that's why I think PlayStation waited so long to get into VR. Is it's like, well, we sell so well with our consoles. Why do we need to take the risk of jumping into VR if it fails? You know what I mean? And Nintendo doesn't even need to take that risk. They're like, well, we make so much money on Pokemon and Mario alone. We don't even need to, like, what? We're able to run fine. Our company runs fine on what we got. So Xbox has to try and be ahead of the game on stuff like this, because if they're not, they just don't manage their IPs well enough to make a profit. I mean, yeah.
Traditional consoles, and it's going to be higher priced. And then when it comes to like the PC console hybrid landscape, Steam as a brand is much more established. Its hardware is going to be more reasonably priced, and it has a better operating system than Xbox does right now, who are currently working on an operating system that will be suited for gaming, but whether they have the ability to succeed on that front remains to be seen. It almost feels like Xbox is getting into this new strategy, this new race that they're trying to compete in a little too late, in the same way that they tried to get into the smartphone market with Windows Phone, but because iOS and Android were already so well established, and Windows...
Wait, what the frick is a Windows Phone? Is that a thing? Was that a thing? Windows Phone. I don't even remember that. Xbox tried to get in on the phone market? The heck is a Windows Phone? Oh, okay. I vaguely remember stuff that looks like this. Wow, I totally forgot about the Windows Phone. Okay. Goodness. Huh. Interesting. Good job,
Everyone just couldn't
Microsoft,
keep
I
up and
guess.
catch up to the established norm and just couldn't
I want to use the Steam machine to play Steam, Epic, and Xbox games. I
execute
bet you
on
you
it
will be.
being kind of at the level of those competitors. It ultimately faded away and ended up failing, and my fear is that that's where Xbox might potentially be headed.
I don't think Microsoft can afford to not have their Xbox games. I don't think they can afford to not have Game Pass or whatever on the Steam machine. Mainly because they're... I mean, if their console market is so short, then you need people to play your games. You know? And if you don't have a ton of people playing on Game Pass PC, I mean, they're going to have to make it available for the people on Steam. You got to have someone's got to be paying to play your games, you know? So they'll probably just say, you can play our games on Steam Deck or Steam whatever, as long as you just pay for your Game Pass subscription. I mean, that's like the only way they're probably making money.
With this next-gen hardware, where they came into it a little too late and without the kind of established ecosystem that competitors have. But only time will tell. These are just concerns that I have. How things play out could be entirely different.
All right, well, thank you, Yongye, for your video. I appreciate you. Yeah, I like this device. Gosh, go figure. This video, I focused on the Xbox. Somehow found a way to focus on Xbox while talking about the new Steam thing. I really like this new Steam thing. Again, price point is definitely the most important aspect of it, but if they can find a way to release this thing, launch this thing on a good price point, if I had money, I would jump in on it at least. I don't see why not. So what are we in? We're in an hour and a half in. And, I guess real quick, let's touch on, some Welcome to Dairy. I'm not going to touch on this for long, giggity giddy goo. Yeah, giggity giddy giddy goo. Alright, real quick. I think I touched on the premiere, and I guess this will be my opportunity. I actually didn't even make notes for this. I totally forgot about I was watching the show. Do I have music playing in the background, Rooney? I do, okay. Yeah, just to quickly touch on it, I've been watching Welcome to Dairy episode... I watched episodes 2 and 3. The latest episode comes out on Sunday. Let's see. Odin Salty says, yeah, the Steam machine really interests me. It looks like a cool and fun little machine to have. I could imagine this could be a good budget PC. Oh, absolutely. Depending on the price point. But yeah, I've watched episodes 2 and 3. Episode 4 comes out this weekend. What are my thoughts on episodes 2 and 3? I really enjoyed the show so far. I would say probably the one thing, I guess I'll touch on the one critical aspect so far. Some of the CGI is a little wonky, just a little. Again, this is a TV show, so it may not have the huge budget that like a big time movie would have. But there's a couple moments where some of the CGI, I think in particular towards episode 3, there's some stuff. There's a whole scene taking place in a graveyard with some ghosts and ghouls. There's some stuff with the CGI there where I'm like, I wish it could be better, but a lot of people are hating on the show because of a scene like that. And there's also another scene that takes place in a convenience store with pickles and whatnot. A pickle monster or something. The thing is like, when it comes to this show in particular, that stuff, when it comes to it, is supposed to be acceptable and good. Because it, again, trying to scare the children and scare them in ways with things that they know about or things that they have inner fears of. So the fact that like a big thing is like some of the kids are afraid of like ghouls and ghosts or something. So that's why one of them or some of them get scared by ghouls and ghosts in a graveyard. One of the girls, her father is killed by at his pickle factory that he worked at. That's why she gets scared. That's why Pennywise tries to scare her with pickles and jars. So like a lot of people are like talking about how kind of hokey some of these scenes are. They don't bother me because they fit within the narrative or whatever Pennywise is trying to do. So that is like my one critical aspect is not that. My critical aspect is mainly like just like the CGI and some of the parts. If you can get past a couple moments of bad CGI, then the show's been great so far. I would say in particular the one thing about the show that I'm like really liking is like a lot of the lore that they're really like delving in with Pennywise and the town in general. I feel like they're doing a great job of kind of tying this show in with the Stephen King. I mean, I guess you have to. It's his IP, but like, or you should. But yeah, they're doing a great job of like tying it in with the Stephen King multiverse thing that he has going on with all of his movies and TV shows. As you can imagine, this is like a prequel. So like it's really cool. They've gone back multiple times to other periods because if you don't know, Pennywise or It wakens every 27 years to like feast or kill kids or something, and then it goes back to sleep and wakes another 27 years. But like this has been really cool. Multiple times they've like delved into previous 27 years or previous like groups of kids or people that have had to deal with him. And I'm like super excited that because I feel like they're going to keep delving into other groups of people within the town who have had to deal with him and have come across him. And the show's so cool. They have this guy, I think his name, what was his name? Hamlin? Or Dick Hanlon? Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. And this guy is probably my favorite part of the show so far. Oh, Halloran. There you go. There's a guy named Dick Halloran in the show who, if you don't know, it's really cool. I'd have to look it up because I'm not like the most in the know of Stephen King stuff. But apparently this guy was in Halloran is like a big deal within Stephen King. The guy Dick Halloran was also in the movie The Shining. He is he's the one black gentleman. I think he worked at the hotel or something like that, or maybe he was visiting. But yeah, he basically has The Shining, Dick Halloran, and they have him in this show, and it's really cool. They like found a way to like have somebody from who has The Shining in It, which if you don't know The Shining in the movie The Shining, the term The Shining is for somebody who has like a spiritual connection or can like look in and see ghosts or can see future and past and type and stuff. They're like a medium kind of. It kind of gives you like a medium or some sort of brain abilities or something. So like the whole thing is like, or sorry if I'm spoiling the show. I'll try not to spoil. Well, I guess I'm kind of spoiling episodes. But yeah, that's a far. I shouldn't delve. I'm just thinking about it. I'm saying I shouldn't spoil. I'm here spoiling some stuff. Really cool. Again, they're finding ways of tying in other aspects of the Stephen King world, lore, universe. You've got things like The Shining. I've heard references of Shawshank, which if you don't know, another Stephen King thing is Shawshank Redemption is another one of his big movies. You heard somebody talking about possibly getting sent to Shawshank Redemption for something they're doing. There's so many cool references to other things. Trying to think of anything else. There's another madhouse in the movie that apparently takes place in another movie. There's connections to Gerald's Game. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of lore videos of people talking about it, and there's so many cool references. So if you're a big fan of Stephen King and how everything ties into universes and stuff, you got to watch this and you got to really pay attention. There's a lot of cool stuff kind of going on here. So again, probably the storyline I'm most interested in, not necessarily the kids. I think the kids, the show does a really good job of flipping your expectations up on their heads. So I like the aspect of the kids. My favorite storyline so far has been, I think his name's Hanlon. Mike Hanlon is in this. Or Halloran. There's Halloran and there's Hanlon. And that's another thing is they also the future kids in it, or in the modern time of the books and the movies, the kids that are they eventually defeat the creature Pennywise. Like like some of their parents are involved in the show, so like it's really cool. So you see like Mike, I think it's Mike Hanlon, his dad is in this and stuff. So there's a lot of cool connectivity between everything. Let's see. Would have been cool if they showed Pennywise when he came to Earth. I think the second movie mentions that the Native American group that was in Derry had to deal with him. They delve into that in this show as well. So there are Native American characters who know more than I think most people do. I'm hoping in future episodes they deal more with that and also explaining. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I know that's something I'm hoping that they really delve into. As far as I know, characters from multiple Stephen King books have had The Shining. I think it's a universal thing with his books. Yeah. Scott Twilight says, "Oh, so it's like they're all living in the same universe or something like that." Yes. Stephen King, if you don't know, he is a madman, and apparently this entire time he's been right. Because don't get me wrong, I've read a couple Stephen King books over the years. I never knew about the connections, or maybe I just never thought about them, how things connected to one another into into different books. But yeah, apparently like all of his books connect into one another. He has like a mastermind of like he has like a multiverse or some sort of lore connections between all of his books and all of his movies and everything. There's references to like Cujo, you've got Pet Sematary, there's so much stuff. Carrie, there's the Drive one, I don't remember what it's called. Is it Maximum Overdrive? But yeah, like there's so many of his stuff that's in here that the Langoliers, gosh, there's so many. Pretty sure John Coffey from Green Mile had The Shining. Did he really? That would be cool. Yeah, I'm sure. Like again, everything is connective, which again, I really love when kind of similar to talking about Lord of the Rings and Peter Jackson. I love when you could make an argument how great the show is in terms of scary and stuff. Like that's kind of debate. You know, some of it's cool. A lot of people have been critiquing CGI, whatever. I at least like that so far. It seems like the people that are writing the show understand the source material of Stephen King and it, and they're at least for now, they're showing a care for wanting to do that stuff right, which like that's most important to me as a Stephen King fan and stuff, and it fan. But yeah, gosh, that's kind of, I think I'll kind of leave it there. There's really not like I don't want to delve into like spoilers and stuff. Again, a lot of aspects of the show I'm really liking it. It kind of reminds me of how much I really liked early days of Stranger Things, which that's another thing that's what Stranger Things comes out next month or something. But yeah, this to me reminds me of what like I was hoping Stranger Things would be able to like continue doing. I eventually fell off of Stranger Things sometime around season 2 or 3, but yeah, this is giving me everything I want so far out of the Welcome to Derry show. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting this much, so it's kind of doing more than I was hoping for, and I'm hoping it maintains it. I'm hoping it doesn't do an Alien Earth and just get really crappy in the second half of it, because that was super disappointing with Alien Earth. That show was a total bummer. So I'm happy with you. Welcome to Derry. Please keep it going. I'm very, very excited to see what they got going on. I'm excited for Sunday. So, all right. Well, I think that's all I'm going to say about Welcome to Derry. I'm enjoying it. I recommend. Thought I heard something. I wholeheartedly recommend you guys go watch it. For now, keep tuning in and I'll let you know if it goes downhill or if it gets terrible at some point. I'm glad they didn't show the really weird parts of the It book. Stephen King was writing some messed up stuff in some of the parts from what I heard from the others. Yeah, Stephen King's he's a madman. For good and for bad. I mean, you don't get to like I guarantee you the guy just sits in his room and writes stuff all day. So, I don't know. I'm not surprised that there's weird stuff in some of his books. Okay, so that might be all we talk about today, unless I could find anything else major that popped up. That's honestly all the things I wanted to talk about. There was a new trailer for the Mario movie. I don't think I'm gonna watch that because I think I'm gonna get copyright claim to heck. I honestly don't even know if I care about that movie. Maybe you guys do. I recommend checking that out. Maybe I didn't really care for the last Mario movie, so forgive me. Let's see. Anything else that jumps out at me? I'm just gonna do a quick rundown of see if there's any videos or anything that pops out at me. Anything at all, anything at all. There's nothing else. I don't know. Oh, let's see. This reminds me that I bought a book from Stephen King. I should really start reading it. Which, but I don't know what the book is. I have to look for it later. I like. I've got a good amount of Stephen King books. I think the last one that I read through and through was Gerald's Game, which that ended up being a very weird one to finish off on. I've read a couple of them. I think my favorite book to date from Stephen King, probably The Mist. I feel like The Mist was really cool. I read, because I've only read like 3 or 4 of his books. I've read, oh gosh, what's the kidnapping one? Misery. I've read Misery. I've read Misery. I've read Gerald's Game. I've read The Mist. By far, The Mist is probably my favorite out of all the ones I've read so far. I think I've read one other. Oh, that's right. I read what was that book even called? Was it the Diary of the Journal of Mary or something? I'll have to look this up now. So I think that might be the 4 books I've read: is Mist, Gerald's Game, Misery, and I read one other one. Stephen King. What is it? What was it? It was like the diary or the story of some girl. What's it called? Huh, I don't even see it here. Was it not a Stephen King book? I remember it was a Stephen King book where a girl lost in woods. I think what it was about. Okay, that hair. The heck? The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. That's the one I read. Gosh, that's such an obscure name. I'll have to show you guys. This book looks really scary. I'll have to show you the cover art for it. Gosh, I read that book in I think that was at either high school or right out of high school. Alright, here you go. I'm going to try and show it to you guys. So this book I read, like I said, I think it was sometime in high school. I can't believe I couldn't even remember the name of this book, is how long ago. But yeah, really cool cover. I would recommend this one. This is a really weird book to check out if you like weird stuff. But yeah, this one was The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. A really, really weird story. I don't even remember. I don't remember what it's about. I remember it was about a girl, and she gets lost in the woods. And I remember just looking at the cover, and I'm like, that looks weird. I think I'll like that. I remember it. I don't remember much. That might be one I need to reread. I haven't read. I don't even remember what happens in that book. Let's see. I remember reading Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to Shining. I never read that one. New Fallout trailer for season 2. Well, I guess I could watch that. I think the book I caught was called The Ring or something close. Alright, well, yeah, so that's that. Gosh, I cannot believe I haven't thought about The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon in forever. That's an old... When did that book even come out? Oh gosh, I'm all over the place now. Why am I so zoomed in? What did I do? Oh, I'm not zoomed in. Sorry, y'all. I started messing with stuff and I got discombobulated. Alright, so now I'm gonna go real quick. I just want to see when this book came out. Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. What year? Says 99. Okay, interesting. Alright, so let's see. Someone said a new trailer for Fallout. I guess we'll watch that real quick. We'll watch that, and I think we'll call things for tonight. That'll be a nice little easy 2 hours. So this got put out 10 hours ago. I'm guessing this is it. Again, I really like Season 1, so I'm very much looking forward to Season 2. This will definitely be something I talk about when it comes out. Turn off the music. Alright, let's check it out real quick.
So I've seen a lot of things. Many a deer have
Hey, greasers.
crazy things.
Rad Scorpion.
Things in the game. But good people? No. That girl I met. All in the wonderful game. I would be a good person too if I grew up in some cozy little impenetrable home. I would steal and stab and fib all the goddamn time just to get by.
Hey, this is the brother.
What exactly is it you plan on doing once we find your daddy?
Gonna bring him to justice. So people know that how they conduct themselves matters. They don't give up hope.
The stuff we fight for? Story has it you used to believe in those things too.
I've been wastelanding for 200 years. I've kept myself alive for one reason.
Ah, so that is like probably the biggest thing that I think is like the whole story with I think the daughter and the dad is like we all kind of know what happens there now. Now I think the next thing for them to delve into would be the ghoul and his wife and daughter. That is probably the next big thing for us to find out exactly what's kind of going on there. I was just thinking, there's no way the daughter is the lady that died at the end of season 1. Nah, I feel like that's got to be a different character.
To find my family.
Something terrible is going to have happened to them.
Need friends. There's a war coming.
Is that a mutant? Ah, so we're going to get to see a mutant. That'll be cool. A super mutant. Oh, they got out of the...
Civil War?
They left it.
I must not have gotten my invitation.
We're actually beginning to get along.
Macaulay Culkin, what the heck are you doing there?
why try again?
Ah, the crazy guy. Weirdo, pervert, whatever he was. The chicken pervert. Deathclaw!
So this is Vegas, huh? I'd ask why my dad ran into a den of monsters, but he'd probably just tell me to shut the fudge up.
So, December 17th, very interesting. So we got a really interesting month or two of TV shows. You can definitely expect I'm going to continue watching Welcome to Derry, and I'll be talking about how well that show does. Definitely be watching Fallout. Probably the one, Fallout's the other one I'm going to watch. Those are the two main ones, Welcome to Derry and Fallout. But the third one is Stranger Things. I'm a lot less enthusiastic about the end of Stranger Things. We'll see. I'm at least curious to see how that show ends up. So that'll be 3 major shows I watch. I thought The Boys was supposed to come out this year. I guess not. Maybe the last season's next year. That's the other big show that I really want to see how it ends up is Boys season 5, 4? Something like that. That's interesting. Well, alright y'all. Well, like I said, apologies. There wasn't any big drama, really, in the interwebs. I mean, there's a bunch of little stuff. There was more drama happening with H3 and this lady. I don't know. I kind of didn't want to delve into it. I don't want to like do nothing but talk about H3 and his beefs with people. But yeah, that one has kind of stayed out of whatever. That one's not as interesting. It's more kind of egregious, but. Wearing the NCR helmet with the armor looked kind of cool. I didn't even notice that. I'll have to check it out again. When the Things Are Strange LL says Veronica Rose. That show, like, even though I enjoyed the last season, it's still just, I don't know, it wasn't quite as good as I was kind of hoping for there. Alright, so, what do we got happening next? So, keep an eye out on the Enter ChazmaN Live channel. Everything we talked about here, of course, I'm going to cut up and I'll make it its own content. And each of these will have their own videos and stuff of the sort. So that gives me an entire weekend of work now. I got to, that'll keep me busy. What else we got? So that means Friday night, if you guys didn't see, for our next indie game, I did choose another new game at random. I chose a game that I saw Skylar Twilight mentioned. Was that the game Mouthwashing? So if you didn't see, that stream is already there and scheduled for tomorrow night. So tune in and we're going to play Mouthwashing. Whatever the heck that game is, it looks very weird, right up my alley. So we'll be tackling that. I think I heard that's a really short game as well. So if that's a really short game, maybe we'll play some Hades 2 afterwards. Saturday night, Hades 2 again. That'll probably be my main game I play until we finish that, or when I'm good and happy with everything, having done everything there. Yeah. And then, same thing, Monday, another indie game. Tuesday, main game. Again, I've been trying to keep up with the schedule. Once again, check out everything else I'm working on. I've got the Enter ChazmaN Live channel. I've got the Enter ChazmaN Long Plays channel, which I successfully put all of the Persona streams on there. So if you want to see 70 hours of Persona streams, those are all bundled up over there. And, yeah. Oh, don't forget, if you guys want to see any of my other stuff, I'll mention it. All things It Dies Today. If you want, if you don't know anything about the band, at least that's again, any content I make there. I've been trying to make a fan page for a metal band that I'm friendly with, and that'd be interesting stuff. I'll put that stuff on Discord whenever I make it, and you guys are welcome to check it out. Still working on I got so many projects. Part of the problem with being unemployed is I've started way more projects than I feel like I should have all the time in the world, but I kind of don't really to do all this stuff. But let's see. I missed out on chat. Anything good? I forgot that I was watching The Boys. It's Skylar Twilight. I really like The Boys. The last season had a couple of things I wasn't as excited for, but I'm really hoping they're able to land in the last season. I'm hoping we can finally get a really cool climactic thing happening with Oh gosh, what's the I already forgot the main guy's name. Why can't I remember? Homelander. Oh, I'm really hoping Homelander and everything gets settled there in a really cool fashion. We'll see. Let's see. I forgot that I was watching The Boys. Yeah, I saw that. Good things to hear about. Have that problem even when I'm unemployed. Is starting too many. To be fair, I'm kind of with you on that. I had that problem even when I was employed with starting too many projects. And now I get overconfident that I'm unemployed, that I start so many projects and I'm only able to get some of them done. One of the major ones was the band thing that I was just talking about. That at least I finished that at like 4 in the morning last night. I stayed up and created all those. So that thing's ready to go. Now I can try and focus on something else. But alright, y'all. Well, like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow for mouthwashing and possibly Hades 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this ChazmaN Live. A little over 2 hours. A little on the short side, but I'm okay with that for today. Keep an eye out on ChazmaN Live. Once again, all this is going to go there. All the highlights and everything. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Skylar Twilight, Tim, and BioCrash for your Patreon support. That's all I got. So, appreciate you guys. Oh, thank you so much to Odin Salty, Skylar, and Veronica Rose for being in chat tonight. Very fun to have y'all. Alright. Adios, everybody. Thank you so much. Love you. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.